Hello, students of classes 9th to 12th, children, parents of students studying from 9th to 12th. Now, this series of mine, What After 12th? Today, I'm here with you with my own subject, biology. So, the biology, if the student has taken biology as a subject in 12th, what are the opportunities after 12th? One thing which comes in everybody's mind is medical, and that is MBBS appearing in NEET and going for MBBS. But today, Pratik Lokwani is with me, and he is going to tell you something different to us, which I'm sure that most of you must not be knowing. It's a different course which many of you may have not heard of even. And this course he is doing after completion of his 12th. And presently he has done bachelor's in audiology and speech language from Ash Institute of Mysuru. And after that, presently he is pursuing MSc, that is in audiology. So Masters of Audiology he is doing, that is 2 years course. So Pratik, welcome to my channel, and I'm happy to have you here with me. So to enlighten my students about this new course, BASLP, that is different from MBBS.
Hello and greetings to everyone watching this. So yeah, I'll be explaining about this bachelor's in audiology and speech language pathology course. I hope everyone is doing well in this time of pandemic, and I'll be happy to tell my experience and my knowledge based on this course. Yeah.
Okay, so Pratik, just tell me, we will start your journey after 12th or from 12th. What were the subjects you had offered, and how did you come to know about this course?
Yeah. Okay. So I completed my 10th standard in 2013. And like most of the students, even I had this dilemma whether to take science or maths or commerce. So, I mean, I was not an, I mean, I didn't had that fear of maths, but then still I was never fascinated by this math subject. So I took biology as my main subject. So I had physics, chemistry, and biology as my core subjects with physical education and English. Yeah, those were my optional subjects in 12th standard, 11th and 12th standard. And in our institute, that was in our schools, St. Paul's Senior Secondary Schools, that was CBSE affiliated. So in that we had three choices: PCM, PCB, or it was either commerce. So I had opted PCB over there. So yeah, my main subjects were physics, chemistry, and biology.
Good. So, as Pratik said, he offered physics, chemistry, and biology because he had some flair for maths. So, he did not take maths in his 12th. Rather, he took physical education and English as other subjects
Yeah.
and PCB. So, that time when you took biology, what was there in your mind? What were your aspirations?
Yeah. Okay. So, like every medical student, even I had this dream of getting into MBBS college, and then even in class 11th and even in class 12th, I had MBBS as one of my dream in those classes. But apart from MBBS, I knew that getting into MBBS is not that easy. So, apart from MBBS, I had some other options also in my mind. So I was having this B pharmacy. I mean, I had applied for B pharmacy also in some of the colleges. Even I had applied for BPT, that is Bachelor's of Physiotherapy, also physical therapy, Bachelor's of Occupational Therapy. So I was going through all these colleges and what was the entrance criteria in those colleges. So yeah, I had. I mean, my dream was to go into MBBS, but then I had all these backup plans also in my mind in class 12th itself.
Okay, so very good golden tip for my students that those who have taken biology, no doubt everybody wants to clear this NEET and go for MBBS, but they all should have these backup plans also in their mind because there are lot many other opportunities also other than going for MBBS. Like you chose this AH Institute of Mysore. So tell us
Yeah.
about this course. Is there any entrance test to get into this course?
Yeah, okay. So before moving on to the entrance test and the eligibility criteria, I would just give a brief introduction about what this profession is. It is the speech and hearing profession. So as the name suggests, it is more of to deal with communication disorders. So speech and hearing profession is an allied healthcare profession. So here the professional is affiliated to diagnose and rehabilitate individuals with communication disorders. Now I'll be talking about this communication disorders, few communication disorders later. Um, focusing on this speech and hearing profession, it is one of, speech and hearing profession is an interdisciplinary approach profession. That is, the profession is a part of a team, and this team is basically to rehabilitate and to manage a person with communication disorder. So an audiologist and an SLP is a part of a whole team, which would include neurologists, ENT doctors, pediatricians, even your physiotherapist and occupational therapist. So yeah, an audiologist and SLP, speech language pathologist, is a part of that whole team. And some of the roles of speech and hearing professional is to treat communication disorders, to make the public aware of these communication disorders, what are the management options available for these communication disorders, and basically research is one of the huge aspect of this profession.
Very nice. So you told us about the this course, which is in the audiology and speech language pathology, and you said it is
Yeah,
all about the communication disorders because it is the disability in having proper speech and proper communication. So that diagnose and the treatment is what is your
yeah,
field. But my
yeah,
question,
yeah.
Pratik, was that was there any entrance test to get into this course after 12th?
Yeah. Okay. So after 12th, there is an entrance exam. Of course, I mean, there is not a entrance exam for a profession as such. There are entrance exams for colleges. So there are few top colleges in this field. That is All India Institute of Speech and Hearing, Mysuru, which I am currently studying in. So that is in Mysuru. It is funded by the Government of India, Ministry of Health and Finance, Family Welfare. So for that, for this institute to get in, you have to clear an All India level entrance examination. There are several other state government colleges also. Now this is central government college. Now the state government colleges include Ali Awad Jung National Institute of Hearing Handicap, which is in Mumbai, Kolkata, Noida, and Secunderabad. So it has its branches all over India. And then it is also a state government college, but then it has its own eligibility entrance exam for, and that is also all India level eligibility entrance exam. Now, apart from these central colleges, central and state government colleges, we also have a few private colleges. Now, to name a few top private colleges, it is Manipal Group of Health Professionals. We also have Dr. S.R. Chandrasekhar Institute of Speech and Hearing in Bengaluru. We have JSS College of JSS Institute of Speech and Hearing in Mysuru and Dharwad of Karnataka, and we have PGI Chandigarh. So all these are the few private colleges which you can get into, but they have their own entrance test. I mean, there are few colleges which takes this 12th ka percentage, 12th boards percentage. There are few colleges of that also. So basically, you have to focus on 12th CBSE boards also for getting into this field. Yeah.
Okay. So once again, a very good, valuable advice for my students that if you are aspiring for medical field and you have to go into these colleges, then you have to concentrate on your percentage of CBSE board because in some private colleges, as Pratik told us, that is the only criteria to get your seat reserved for in these institutes. These are some private colleges. But Pratik is doing his course. He did his bachelor's from ASH, that is All India Institute, and it's a central government institute. And for which he said that there is All India entrance exam. You have to qualify that entrance exam to secure a seat in this prestigious institute at Mysuru. And he also told us that there are some state government colleges also, wherein there is seats reserved for that state, particularly that state. And these state government institutes are also having entrance examination. So you have to appear for this entrance examination, and then only you can secure seat. And the number of seats are also limited. Pratik has told me that there are about 60, 65 seats per year are available in these institutes. So you have the competition is really tough, and you have to prepare a lot for these is All India entrance examination. Okay, Pratik, so you cleared that All India examination for All
Yes.
India Institute of Speech and Hearing at Mysore. What after that?
Yep. Okay. So after that, the bachelor's course started, and it is of 3 years of training, and then you have 1 year of internship. So in this 3 years of training, the first year it will be an observation year for you. So in that whole year, you have to observe your seniors, observe your supervisors, how they handle patients, and then how they assess and diagnose these communication disorders. So that first year is only for observation. But then good thing about this profession is in second year you'll have to handle patients independently, and of course you'll be in guidance of your supervisors and your seniors, but then you have to handle them personally and then independently. And after that, in second year and third year, you have to make up your clinical training, and then of course you have to attend classes, theory classes. And then after that 3 years of completion, you'll have 1 year of internship, where you'll be posted to different hospitals of the country. Like I did my internship in JLN Medical College of Ajmer, the Jawaharlal Nehru Medical College of Ajmer. And then I had also done my 2 months internship in KGMU, the King George Medical University in Lucknow. So those were the internship centers for me. Now of course these internship centers would based upon your, I mean, that will get, I mean, you'll be recruited based upon your college, because in some state level colleges you will be recruited, I mean, you'll be given institutes of your own state only, but then as this is a central institute, so you'll be placed in different states and different cities for your internship. Yeah, so it is 3 plus 1 years of bachelor's.
Okay, so Pratik, thank you so much for guiding us about this course, that bachelor's degree, that is BASLP, Bachelor of Audiology and Speech Language, which you did from Mysore All India Institute of Speech and Hearing. And you said that the first year is the observation, where you are observing your seniors, doing the diagnosing and communicating with their patients and diagnosing
Yeah.
what is the communication disorder. So it is basically observing your seniors, what is the type of job they are doing, and you have to follow them. And from, you said the good thing is that from second year onward, you yourself are handling patients on your own. So that means your
Yeah.
practicals starts from very second in year only, and you are
Yes.
handling patients independently. You are diagnosing the communication disorder, and I think I personally feel it must be very interesting, because
Yeah. Yes.
it is a different kind of this thing. And we have never heard of, because in our society there are not many persons suffering from these communication disorders which are going untreated, because no
Yes.
one has
Absolutely.
paid
Absolutely.
attention, the required attention for these disorders. So it's very good that you people are doing this job, and it's a noble job, it's a noble profession to
Yes.
identify
Absolutely.
such people, help them treat their disorders, and rehabilitate them. So a very nice job you people are doing.
Yeah.
And
Thank
you
you.
said that the fourth year is internship, which you did from your,
Yes.
it's the actual training at the actual practical area, that is in the hospitals. And you did from your
Yes.
Medical College of Ajmer and then Medical Institute of Lucknow, you did your internship.
Yep.
And after that, that was not the end of your profession.
Yeah.
You tried for your post graduation, and I know that there is competition for getting a seat for post graduation as well. So it was very, very
Yes.
difficult for you. You struggled a lot, you prepared a lot, and there was a hard work behind this preparation. And that hard work bore the sweet fruit, and you got a seat in post graduation. And presently, you
Yeah.
are doing your MSc in audiology. So tell us something
Yeah.
about your post graduation, and after post graduation, what are the avenues?
Okay. So, okay, I got into post graduation recently 2 years back. And then again for post graduation, you have all India entrance level exams of different colleges. So, of course, the competition is tough. Now, the competition is 2 or 3 times tougher than the bachelor's level because you have all the speech and hearing individuals coming over at one place. And then, of course, the competition is huge over there. So, basically the audiologist, I mean the audiology post course what I'm doing over here. So an audiologist is a profession which involves diagnosing and rehabilitating hearing and balance issues. So as you know that our ear is has a role of hearing as well as balance. So any issues related to hearing or balance, those issues are diagnosed and rehabilitated by audiologists. And apart from that, we also have newborn hearing screening programs. So when a child is born, on the day of birth only, we can test whether the child has some hearing related issues or is at risk of some of the issues. So that is also a role of audiologist. Apart from that, the role of audiologist include hearing aid trials. So as you may know that individuals with hearing impairment do use some hearing devices such as hearing aids and cochlear implants. So we test individuals with hearing impairment with what kind of hearing aid would be beneficial to them, or whether they are eligible to go for cochlear implant surgery. Now this cochlear implant is like artificial cochlea inside your ear. So of course we are not doing surgery over there, but after the cochlear implant surgery, the programming and mapping of cochlear implants and all that is handled by an audiologist. And of course the vertigo, the balance related issues, those are assessed and managed by an audiologist. Now these are our audiology field. Now if you do MSc of or BSLP, after BSLP you do MSc of speech language pathology. So you'll be more into communication disorders such as fluency disorders, that is stuttering. In Hindi we say it as haklana. So those fluency disorders, voice disorders, misarticulation, that is tutlana, the mispronunciation of words, or autism or dyslexia, as you may have seen that movie Tare Zameen Par, the learning disability. So those disorders are assessed and managed by a speech language pathologist. And then of course speech language pathologist has also roles of swallowing therapy and swallowing assessment. So if you have any swallowing related issues after laryngectomy or some operations, operations like that, so if you have any disorders of swallowing, the assessment and management is also taken into care by an speech language pathologist.
So thank you so much, Pratik, for giving us that in-depth information about the post-graduation courses after doing your bachelor. You said you can go for a speech language pathologist course, the post-graduation,
Yeah.
or audiology. And you are
For
doing
audiology.
audiology. And you said in
Yeah, yeah,
audiology, you are basically dealing with the hearing problems of the
yeah,
patients. And we see in movies also the child is born and the parents are so anxious to know whether the child
yeah,
is able to hear it or not, and they just keep
yeah,
on banging the tables and bats it. So this all reminds me that what you people are doing, you people are treating, you people are diagnosing this disorder. And you said the cochlear implants also are there, part of the surgery also is part of
yeah,
your this thing.
yeah.
So very nice. Like you people are doing complete treatment for this, as far as this is speech, the communication disorders, and the hearing disorders are concerned.
Yeah.
Very nice. Okay, Pratik, now tell me that once you have completed this MSc of yours, what would be your designation and where will you apply? Like you can apply for any hospital, or there are special hospitals for this? Like what would be your designation, and what are the avenues for you after doing this post graduation?
Okay. Okay, so like MBBS course, we are not affiliated to prescribe medicines or do minor or major surgeries. So after MSc course, we can't use doctor as such. The doctor prefix is not used after MSc course. But then there are some states which do allow using the doctor prefix, such as Telangana state and some northeastern states. So they do use this. They do allow the speech and hearing professionals to use doctor prefix, but as of now most of the uh, state governments and most of the states don't allow using those doctor prefix as of now. And of course you can do PhD in audiology or PhD in speech language pathology. After that you will be called a doctor. You can use the prefix, but then after your BSc, or I mean BSLP and MSc, you can't use the doctor prefix. And
So,
talking about the job opportunities, um, it's not only in hospitals. Of course, in hospitals there are jobs of audiologist and speech language pathologist. Now there are certain schemes by government such as NPPCD, that is National Program for Prevention and Control of Deafness. Now under that scheme, there has to be an audiologist posted in each district level hospital. So of course the job opportunity increases after that. So apart from hospitals, we can also be posted in schools. Now there are certain schools which have these SLP posts for students with stuttering, students with learning disability. They can get their sessions in the school itself during their recess period or their free periods. They can get diagnosed and managed and rehabilitated in their schools itself. Now there's an opportunity in schools also. Apart from schools, you can also apply for this teaching line. I mean, the professor, assistant professor, associate professor, where you will be posted in institutions such as Aish and other institutions. And then there, your main job or main role would be to main role would be clinical as well as academic, where you'll be teaching students of BSc or MSc, and then clinical would be also one of the role. And apart from these, you can also be posted in industries, because as you know, most of the industries have these huge noise exposures, and because of this noise exposure, the employees do get hearing related issues. So for the benefit and checking those hearing related issues in those employees, we are also posted in institutions, and then I mean industries, and those industry related posts also do come frequently. So apart from that, I mean, there is also job opportunities in clinical chains such as these Amplifon, Siemens. These are some companies, hearing aid companies, which will set up their own clinics, and then they have their own instruments over there. You just have to sit there, diagnose patients, and rehabilitate, and give the management option. So you can be posted in those clinical chains also. And last but not the least, you have your own private practice. You can open your own clinic, you can practice over there, and you can enjoy your benefits.
very nice. So you said there are not many avenues after doing MSc, though you cannot prescribe medicine or undergo the surgery procedure as a doctor, that you can do only after completion of your PhD, that is after MSc. And
No, even after PhD, that surgery related part is not there. I mean, surgery and prescribing medicine related part is not there in this profession as such. But then after PhD, in particular the audiology and SLP, you can use that doctor prefix.
okay. And you said that in
Yes.
some states these degree personnel
Yes.
they are doing it, but you said that there are avenues in hospitals because there is a post of audiologist in clinics and hospitals. Then you
And
said
SLP as well.
there is a new avenue which has come up, that is in schools, because
Yeah.
I, being a teacher, I know that these days we have to appoint a full-time nurse and doctor in our school.
Hmm.
So that opportunity is there, and students are suffering from these learning disorders, and these learning disorders may be because of the hearing disorder or the communication disorder.
Can be.
So yeah,
Absolutely, it can be.
yeah,
Yeah.
because we have seen in Tare Zameen Pe, the problem is something else and the solution we are
Hmm.
finding somewhere else. So that should not
Hmm.
happen. And that's why this post in schools is being created. And that is another opportunity for you people. And then you said you can always go for teaching. Like you can teach the BSc and MSc students in institutes like AISH and other state government and private institutes, then you said you can go for research, because this field is open for research also. It's a new field, so it is open for research, and you can go for
Yes.
research also. As it is, India is lagging behind in research, so
In
it's a
field
good,
of research.
yeah, it's a good field. We can bring at least Nobel prizes in this field, if not in any
Yeah,
other.
absolutely. Yes.
Yeah, because I always want that there should be some Indian scientist bringing the Nobel
Mhm.
Prize. Okay. And then you said that the clinics are also there. Some companies are having clinics, and you can be posted there also. And last but not the least, you can open up your own clinic, and
Yes.
you can practice there, and you can have your own, it's a business come this thing. So very nice,
Yes.
Pratik, giving us all the information about this, and about this new institute, different institutes, so that now my students have a backup plan if they are not
Yeah.
succeeding in clearing NEET, which is going to be held in September. I think yesterday was the last
Yes.
day to fill the applications for
Mhm.
NEET. So
Mhm.
they don't have to worry about this thing. The backup plans are there. There are many other bachelor degrees, like in dental surgeries and pharmaceuticals. You said there are many. So they have to
Mhm.
explore all these opportunities, and keep a backup plan also in their mind. So thank you so much. I don't want to ask you the positive and challenges, because you are not into that profession yet. You yourself
Yeah.
are a student yet, but still, I want to ask you, being there at Mysore Institute for last 4 to more than 5 years, how does it
6 years.
feel?
Yeah.
Like, what are the changes in Pratik when he joined Ash and present today?
Okay, now being in this institute and being in South India from past 6 years, now I have learned so many cultures. I mean, I never knew there were so many different cultures in India itself. So here we are celebrating all the festivals from Onam to Diwali to Ganesh Chaturthi and all. So I have learned about a lot more diversity in India. And then also I'm more responsible now because we have to treat patients. We have to be questionable enough after that. So yeah, that responsibility comes into you after doing such courses. And then apart from that, you also have that sense of dedication, because now I have in my mind that I should be fully dedicated towards the society, because that has to be there in such professions. I should not think more about myself, but I have to think more about the society. So yeah, in those aspects I feel that I have changed a lot.
Yes, yes. So the Pratik, when he entered Ash, was a different Pratik, and now he's a different Pratik. More responsibility towards the society, dedication for the work, and I know that completing 6 years in the hostel life, you must have inculcated the leadership qualities, the teamwork, spirit, and all these things which are needed to survive in this society, and which are needed to face day-to-day challenges of life. You must have acquired them, and wishing you all the very best. And if you feel that I am missing on something which you want to tell my students, please go ahead.
Okay, I think most of this thing is covered. I mean, I don't want to influence that this course is better than MBBS. That should not be there. Of course, MBBS is much better, but then of course the students should have a backup plan. I mean, if they are not succeeding in those MBBS entrance exams and all, they should have a backup plan, and then they should know about these courses also. Like these courses do exist, and then there is huge opportunities. I mean, this is a growing field, and then you do get reputed jobs in other fields also apart from MBBS, because that mentality in India is like, if you take biology, or I mean, if you take medicine, your sole ambition and that goes only towards MBBS. So that should not be there.
Yes, very true. I totally agree with you, Pratik, that yes, the NEET is the best thing to qualify to clear once you have taken biology. But if you are not able to do that, don't lose heart. There are many other opportunities. And I have seen students wasting 2 years, 3 years for this, and again repeating that exam. And at the end of the second or third year, they get so frustrated that they don't want to do anything. They lose interest in this field itself. So that should not be there. You should have backup plans, and there are many other opportunities, many other courses which you can pursue. So thank you so much for telling this to my students.
Thank you so much.
And I'm wishing you all the very best for your MSc, for your PhD, and for all the success stairs to climb. And we are looking forward to a Pratik who is doing this noble profession and doing a service to the society. Thank you so much, Pratik, for being with us and telling my students about this. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I feel honored to be called upon this because this is a huge platform. Like what after 12th, most of the students are like have this dilemma, what to go, what to do. So this is, I mean, a good plan. I mean, good idea to initiate. Thank you so much for calling me here.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's a teamwork. Me and you together are just putting our bit of efforts to suggest our students what after 12th. Thank you so much.